Well, hey everyone, my name is Nathan Jones. If you're new here, welcome. I like to talk about all things movies, specifically Blu-rays, and today, actually this entire last week, I don't know when you're going to be watching this video, but this is the last week for the Barnes & Noble 50% off sale for Criterion. And I was able to pick up a few titles, and I wanted to showcase with you the titles that I picked up, and I've actually seen over half of the films that I am going to be talking about. And so I want to showcase with you what I've been thinking about recently, some titles that have really just been on my mind, and a lot of the things that have recently come out during this month. In fact, there's one thing that just came out by the time I'm recording this that is probably on its way here. There's one more thing that I haven't picked up yet that I can't show you, but I might show you that later. So let's actually just jump right into the titles that I have and have not seen. I've seen over half of the films, like I said, and so I'll give you a little bit more in depth on all my thoughts on all these movies. But I'm excited to showcase with you what I've picked up. So I'm actually kind of curious, before we even jump into this, what did you pick up during the month of November? Tell me in the comment section down below from the Criterion collection. And also, what are some films that you might be wanting to pick up if you have a week left? You know, if you are just, new to this, you might not know that there's a sale going on, but I hope you do. And to showcase some of the pickups and things that have been on my mind. So anyway, let's just jump right into it. All right, first and foremost, we'll talk about two films that I have not seen, both from the 60s. And so let's just jump into the first one. This is Spy Number 57, and this one has been constantly on my cart, on rotation, for the past few years. I've always had it in some kind of capacity. I've almost always bought it, but I haven't picked it up yet. This is from 1963. This is Charade. Cary Grant, Audrey Hepburn. I always thought this was a Hitchcock film. I have no idea why that is the case. I guess it's just maybe that Vertigo looking cover art right there. It looks really, really fantastic. I love the design of this. This is directed by Stanley Donen, not Alfred Hitchcock. And so, but I'm excited about this one. It's a comedic thriller, and so I'm sure there are some Hitchcock elements to it. There's some thriller elements that are going to happen in this film, but it's also comedic. So I'm really looking forward to this. What about you? Have any of you seen Charade? I'm actually kind of curious to know what everyone has to think about this particular film, but it's always had this look to it, and I've just never picked it up until now. So, but I'm excited to watch it now. So then next, the other film that I picked up is one from 1960, and it is based on a Tennessee Williams play. And I actually have seen Cat on a Hot Tin Roof and A Streetcar Named Desire. Didn't particularly care about those films as much as a lot of people do, but this does have Marlon Brando in it, the Fugitive Kind. And it also stars Anna Magnani and Joan Woodward. And this is directed by Sidney Lumet, and that's the reason I'm excited about it, because I love Sidney Lumet's work, and I'm actually still on this journey of, discovering a lot of his productions. I've obviously seen 12 Angry Men and the like, and I know my friend Cinema Dave loves Sidney Lumet, and so I'm excited to check out more of his work. And I'm actually kind of excited to kind of give this Tennessee Williams adaptation a chance. So what about you? Have any of you seen The Fugitive Kind? This is Spy Number 515, but I'm excited to check it out. So let's actually move on to a film that I have seen. All right, so the next film that I've seen is actually from 1968. It's a Japanese horror film. It's actually based on a fable. A lot of kabuki theater elements to this. If any of you watch Japanese cinema or know anything about the Japanese culture, a lot of these are very slow-paced, kind of parables, and that's where a fable is. Kind of a telling of something, a misdeed that's happened, and really kind of showcasing what that horror ensues. But this is a really hard to watch film, especially near the beginning of the film, because of the tragic events that occur in it between a mother and a daughter who get raped and murdered. It happens at the very, very beginning. They become spirits, or maybe cat demons, based on the name Kiraneko, which means the black cat. And that's the film I'm talking about. Kaneto Shindo, I hope I said his name correctly, is a really great director, and in fact, he's directed Onibaba, which I have not seen yet. I know I've talked about it in the past. I own it, haven't seen it yet. My apologies, but I really did enjoy this. I watched it a few days ago, and I thought it was a really fascinating, slowly paced, very eerie, very atmospheric, kind of chilling tale of revenge, and I really, really appreciated it and loved it. There's some really great twists and turns with it, and I hope everyone can check out Kiraneko, because it's a really fantastic film, and as long as you are patient with it and enjoy the atmosphere, get sucked into it, it's going to be worth your time. So check out Kiraneko if you haven't seen it. But if anyone has seen it, what do you think about it? Let me know in the comment section down below. Now we're going to move on to a film that I haven't seen, yet before. In fact, I've seen a lot of this man's work, but I haven't seen this one, and it's a drama. It's one of his later works, and it's from 1952. I'm talking about Charlie Chaplin's Limelight. And this is, like I said, a drama. Generally, when you think of Charlie Chaplin, you think of slapstick, and you think of maybe some comedy, screwball elements to it, maybe a little bit of drama, right? Like Great Dictator or something along those lines, where there's some moments, there's highlights of, you know, something that might happen. But I have seen a lot of his films, and Monsieur Verdot. I've seen The Great Dictator, you know, the Gold Rush, The Kid, Modern Times. There's a lot of really great films that I really love by Charlie Chaplin, so I needed to add this one to the collection. But what about you? Have you seen Limelight? I'm really curious to know what everyone's thoughts on this particular film are. But, you know, as a fan of Charlie Chaplin, I definitely wanted to check this one out, because I want to look at kind of maybe that element of being washed up and what that actually did feel like for Charlie Chaplin, because I know a lot of that happened in his real life. So I'm excited to check this one out. So let's actually move on to a film that I have seen. All right, so the next movie that I watched, because I've been watching a lot of noirs lately, I definitely wanted a break from that. So I wanted to go up to 1985, watch a film that I've seen multiple and many times, but I finally wanted to upgrade my edition of this. And I'm talking about John Hughes' The Breakfast Club from 1985. This is spy number 905. I love this movie. There are some things maybe that wouldn't work today when it comes to treating Molly Ringwald, maybe. But at the same time, it's a really fantastic, you know, life in the day of a bunch of misfits that do not belong together, and they really kind of start to understand each other just by listening and talking and going through a lot of antics and doing a lot of crazy things. And there's a stellar cast, obviously. If anyone hasn't seen The Breakfast Club, I mean, get on it already. But if you have, let me know what you think down below. I know this is a controversial pick for a lot of people in the Criterion collection. I don't know why. I think it's a fantastic addition to the Criterion collection. I think it definitely belongs here. It's a contemporary classic for sure. And it's definitely moved a lot of people in a direction towards maybe appreciating the films that would, you know, go into the collection naturally. So, Breakfast Club, have you seen it? If you say no, you get off this channel. But now we're going to move on to a more serious topic, and a film that's more recent, from 2018. In fact, I actually remember going to the local art house theater that I have here in Springfield, Missouri, to watch this one. It's a black and white Polish film directed by Paweł Pawlowski, and he's one of my favorite directors in modern times right now, at least for the Polish movement. And I've only seen a few of his films, but this is Cold War right here, and that's what I'm talking about. It's actually in Polish, Croatian, Russian, German, Italian, and French, and just like the title suggests, it's dealing with the Cold War, and this is actually a romance that shouldn't happen between the East and the West, right? And two people on opposite sides of things, and trying to make sure that things work out. And it's really tragic. It's really romantic. It's beautifully shot. It's really wonderfully acted, and I had a really good time. In fact, I only watched it the one time in theaters, but I'm really excited to check this one out again. I just know I'm going to get probably a little bit emotional when I do. But have any of you seen Cold War? I'm actually kind of curious, and let me know down in the comment section down below. All right, so moving on to a film from Dorothy Arzner from 1940. It's one of the few female directors that were working during this time period, and in fact it's a film with Maureen O'Hara and Lucille Ball and Lewis Hayward as well. This Dance Girl Dance, and I picked this one up because I've actually been a little bit interested in ballet lately. Thanks, Vanessa. But I wanted to check this one out because I definitely was reading the back of it when I was looking at Barnes & Noble. I actually went to Barnes & Noble. My local Barnes & Noble doesn't have any Blu-rays, but I was able to take a trip with my roommate, and we were able to pick up a few things. And so I actually saw this one, and I started reading the back, and I was like, okay, wow, this is one of the few female directors working at this time. And so it had my curiosity there, and I definitely wanted to check it out. And it's only 89 minutes. It's spy number 1028. But yeah, I'm really excited about it. It's got this nice golden, appeal to it. But I'm excited about this one. I've heard some decent things about it, and nothing too spectacular, but it's something I want to certainly check out. So have any of you seen Dance Girl Dance? I want to know down in the comment section down below what your thoughts on that are. All right, so we're actually going to move on to a film. We're going back in time again. We're going all the way back to 1928 to spy number 1033. We're talking about Buster Keaton and The Cameraman. I fucking love this movie. This one, I watched this the same day I watched The Breakfast Club. I needed a good laugh that day, and I really, really enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed Buster Keaton's work. In fact, off camera you can't really see it, but there's the Eureka, Masters of Cinema, Our Hospitality, Go West, and College. And I really enjoy all those works. I've obviously seen The General, which I really love as well, and Three Ages, and a few other Buster Keaton titles. So this is one of the few ones that are on Criterion. In fact, I don't know if there is really any other ones on Criterion, but this is packed to the brim with special features. This is a new 4K restoration of this film, and it's just really fantastic. I love it. There's a really great boat scene near the end of the film. There's a lot of really great antics, as Buster Keaton would always, showcase with that. But if you haven't seen The Cameraman, definitely do yourself a favor. It's really short, 69 minutes, and you should definitely check out The Cameraman. It's a really great silent picture. It's in all its Buster Keaton glory. It's really just a really fantastic time, and it'll put a big smile on your face. And yeah, so if you haven't seen The Cameraman, check it out. Now we're going to move on to a film that actually this is one of the most recent releases from Criterion. I want to say it came out earlier this month, or maybe the end of October. And this is Spy Number 1053, and it's got one of my favorite actors during this time, Gregory Peck in The Gunfighter. And I love that cover. That cover looks amazing right there. And this is directed by Henry King. This is came out in 1950. And I really, really enjoyed this film. And it really reminded me of The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance, which I want to say came out a little bit after this film. But regardless, I really enjoyed how brooding this film was. The set design was really fantastic. The acting in this film was also really, really greatly done. And I think they really delved a little deeper in some of the dark elements of this town that, obviously, Gregory Peck plays a gunfighter who maybe is trying to retire, trying to move past his old days of what he used to do. He's not necessarily a good character. Like he's not good, and he's not necessarily bad. He's almost like maybe you would say the Han Solo type of character that you would see. And it really just shows he's just, he wound up in the wrong place. And it really showcases what happens in the story. So check out The Gunfighter if you haven't seen it. It's a really good time, and I really, really loved it. And so what about you? Have any of you seen The Gunfighter? I'm curious to know down in the comment section down below. Moving on to our last two titles. The first one is the Best Picture winner from 2019. And I'm really, really happy to have this. I got Parasite. I love this movie. In fact, I actually rewatched this. I watched the black and white version with my roommate, and we really enjoyed it, but at the same time, we think it might be better in color. So do yourself a favor and watch both of the color and black and white versions of this film, but at the same time, it's a really good time, and there's a lot of really good shots in that black and white imagery that, like, okay, this looks a lot better in this camera work that's going on. But anyway, Bong Joon-ho, South Korean film, came out earlier, like I said, last year, and it won Best Picture. It's Spy Number 1054. This is just a fantastic cover, right? I actually have the poster off camera, and it comes with a really nice thing, 2 discs, and I really loved this work. In fact, I'm curious. I've only watched one special features on this, and it was on. Let's see. Let me look at this real quick. New Korean cinema movement featuring Bong Joon-ho and Park Chan-wook, who directed Old Boy. And so it was a really nice conversation. I really enjoyed that. And they were talking about a lot of the films that they made, their contemporaries made, their friends. And I just really love it. And I think there's a big movement going on right now in South Korea. Yeah, I really love that special featurette. And I think it kind of just covers a lot of the things going on right now. So, we have Park's work like as an Old Boy. You also have I Saw the Devil, The Wailing. There's a lot of really fantastic works that are going on right now in South Korea, and they're really dark, and they're very real and kind of gritty, but there's also some imagination as well going on. And so yeah, check out Parasite if you haven't. It's definitely more than meets the eye. I don't think I talked about the film really. It's a really great tale about social class, and it's really hard to describe this film without giving anything away. If you haven't seen Parasite, certainly check it out. It's definitely one of the best picture winners that has won in recent years, and I'm so happy that it won because it's an international picture. It's about time that something outside of America or maybe England would win you know, a Best Picture at the Oscars. And so I know not everyone really cares about the Oscars, but this movie definitely deserves its own Oscar. All right, so next we're moving on to a film that I saw 3 years ago in graduate school in a film class that I watched. And it was actually the first film, the first week that we were going to talk about and discuss this one. It's directed by Jim Jarmusch, Ghost Dog, or The Way of the Samurai. And it's got Forrest Whitaker, and I love this movie. There's so much great things about it. In fact, one of my favorite aspects of it is RZA's score from the Wu-Tang Clan. I love the Wu-Tang Clan, and they're nothing to fuck with. So anyway, Ghost Dog, really enjoy this film. It's really stylistic and creative. I just really love the combination of the elements in this story, of the location, and like adding that Japanese samurai like element to it, especially in Forrest Whitaker's character. It's a really great release. I'm super happy it finally came out on Blu-ray. It's packed to the brim with stuff. In fact, actually, oh wow, I haven't even opened it yet, but it's got something in it here that I'm excited to look into. Oh, it's excerpts from Book of the Samurai. But yeah, there's some really great things about it, and I'm super excited to check out this edition because there's a lot of extra features in it as well. And so what about you? Those are all my films that I picked up during the month of November, during this Barnes & Noble 50% off sale. I know there's a week left, so I know everyone, you still have time to pick up some stuff and get, you know, that good discount off. But I'm also curious to know what you picked up during the month. So let me know in the comment section down below what you're excited about, what some things that you are going to pick up. And so yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. Give it a like, share this video, hit that notification bell. I'll see you next time, and I'm not jonesing around.